them a double.
Okay.
If you could solve the fighting, it was like a resolution for the Middle East crisis. That didn't last long.
Didn't last long, eh?
Jesus.
Never works really that well on a double when you got two guys that have a different idea of fishing, because you always like, maybe you want to go there, or you want to do this, and you want to do that, and I can't do this, and I can't do that.
Put two siblings on there when
That's
they're
what I'm
fighting
saying,
around
yeah.
all the time
Yeah.
anyway,
And
in
then
close proximity out in the ocean.
No, that didn't work very well.
Didn't work very well.
But then, yeah, definitely, about 2013, I'd say,
Okay.
was kind of really, and it was quite nice because it was like we were going into those tuna years.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was, you went every time and caught
Got
a
a
tuna,
tuna.
or you go to salmon and catch a 25 kilo tuna. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
quite.
I
We
suppo-
didn't catch kuda. It was like
Yeah,
catching
yeah.
a shoal kuda was like, oh, flip, cool day.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose for you, Rob, really, like, why did you go to kayak fishing? Like, what made you start 20-something years
Well,
ago? I mean,
We lived in England.
before you moved, yeah?
Then we came back to Durban because my wife's family were here.
Okay.
And my brother-in-law is dead now.
Yeah.
He had bought me a ski because he knew I was coming back.
Okay.
An old Eric ski.
Okay.
I wasn't all that keen. I didn't even I used to fly fish for trout in England.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a clue. Nobody did back in those days.
No, there was a handful of, and literally a handful of people
Yeah.
fishing on
So you had that Eric's with like a box in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't put your rods inside.
Yeah.
And I started there in Schlote with my brother-in-law.
Okay.
And then I caught a few good fish quite quickly into the whole kayak fishing experience.
That was the downfall of that, eh?
And that was over then. Yeah,
It's all over then. It's all over by the shouting.
but you know that Eric's kayak?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, I remember that one.
You tie your rods on the top.
On the deck, yes.
And on New Year's Eve, I was coming in at Mschlati with 1 million people on the beach with their cooking pots
Yeah.
and the whole thing. Hundreds of people. And I pitch poled it.
Yes, as you would.
And my board shorts caught on the tips of the back of the rods and ripped the pants right off. And I had to cover my modesty there with a paddle. And I could just walk up to the...
Casually.
Yeah, I could just walk up.
Because I can imagine you didn't run, you casually.
No. But you still have to pull your boat up the beach without any clothes on. And we all used to park our boats there at the Mschlati Ski Boat Club.
Yeah. I think a lot of people
At the
don't
back
remember.
there.
Yeah. A lot of people don't remember that there's a complex there now, but that Mschlati Ski Boat Club literally crossed the road. There were showers. There was a nice little clubhouse
We used
there.
to braai there
Yeah.
and everything was very nice.
Even
very
had racks around the
convenient.
back of the club where the guys would put their skis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that. Like I say, that one or two of those last comp that the Clive Hockley was involved in.
Yeah, Clive.
I mean that
and
one comp got
geez,
almost 200 anglers in the early 2000s.
Neil Renz
Yeah.
and I can't remember all those guys. The guy used to own the tyre shop.
It was the only kayak comp of
Glenn.
the year. Yeah, Glenn Evans. Only kayak comp of the year. And the only every single person who kayak fished went to the comp.
Yeah.
It was literally what it was, but it was good.
And I remember being a lighty standing at those comps, and I think the standard of fish was a bit different. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot
Yeah.
more shoalies.
Yeah, 100% there were.
So you'd hear someone say like, flip, someone's coming in, he's got a 15 kilogram
Wow.
cutter. Like, York guys, barnstormer.
Yeah,
So I remember one night you guys coming in at night with like a 18 to 20 kilo tuna, and it was like guys were getting phone calls to come down to the beach
down
and
to
check
the
it
beach to
out.
see it.
And
But at one of those competitions, I think it was the second one, I'd gone up to Seabell with Kim Papenfuss
Oh yes.
and I caught the winning fish.
Okay.
But it closes at 5 o'clock.
The paddle back was a bit too far.
No, it was fine. Got back in time,
Okay.
got my fish weighted up there, like 21.8. And Rory Nicholson
Oh
got
yes, I
21.9.
actually remember that
And
year.
then you got one of 22.
I remember that year.
I still got those photographs of the three of us standing
Yeah.
there. And I think Benny actually, or Rory who had the bigger one. I can't.
Yeah, I think Rory won it that year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it was quite nice. And I remember you coming down to the beach with Bruce, your dad,
Yeah.
and you had two. I can't remember. I think they were called Wahoos.
It was the first super light I ever made. Yeah.
Wahoos at Mschlati.
Yeah.
And we all could look at them and have a go on them.
Yeah.
And paddle them.
We
in and out a bit.
had girls that would serve beer to stealth paddlers only. We had a couple of years of those. You remember those?
No.
We had actually my wife and her friends. We were all students. And then we got the gazebo and cooler boxes. And
Oh,
if
yes.
you
Yeah.
paddled the stealth, you got a free beer from the girls in bikinis on the beach.
Yeah.
If you paddled anything else, we just sat back and watched Oak hit the beach. So made a bit of a it stirred the pot a little bit, but it was fun.
But those first little super light wahoos,
Yeah.
they were good little
Yeah,
kayaks.
they were popular.
Very light as well.
Mhm. And then we
Very
started
light.
getting
I mean,
more
I
and more complicated.
loaded a lot of fish into those boats.
Yeah, we know that. We certainly know you've put a lot of fish into us.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the biggest?
Biggest is I think it was a 1.25 meter kingfish
Yeah.
at Tsinkwazi.
Okay.
That's if you do the weight to size measurement thing, because I released
40 something kilos maybe.
about 35, I suppose,
that's okay.
36, one of those.
But kuda, let's say.
Kuda,
Because
I've
you
got
are the kuda man. the kuda
32,
kid. And how many?
32
and
and
how many?
32.9.
And how many fish over 30?
Two.
Two. But you must have a bucket load just under 30.
Yes, so many. 29.2, 28.
And Adam's got one over 30.
I got 1 over 30.
So
Yeah.
1 over
But
30.
to get 1 over 30, like
No, people
I
use their
like
lifetime to get
there
one
is,
over
yeah. So to get 2 over 30,
Yes.
like you see guys with, I think there's some guys maybe pushing 3, 4, and that's like
Yeah.
probably the outer. There's guys who there's some of the best kuda anglers around, like Carl.
Yeah,
Carl
Yeah,
still
got
needs to
one
get
over
his.
30. He hasn't got one over 30.
he hasn't got one over 30.
Yeah. So
That's what exactly what you're talking about.
Like, so people say the one over 30, and you say you've got 2. Exactly that. Like, fill this room with 20 people, and I can tell you now that most of those here wouldn't even have come close. And that some of them have been fishing 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
the dog is probably.
Yeah.
Dogger 39 is my biggest, and Adam's beat me there. I
That's
think
the
he got
one.
44
That's the one
and-
I beat him.
No, that's the one where you
Got a 42
picture
the
of
other
the
day.
broken scale.
Yeah. And maxed out a 40.
But I mean,
scale.
that's also something that that's very unique. Is a father and son that have caught a kuda over 30.
Yeah.
It's a trophy fish. It is. And it's a proper trophy fish. There's not many people who can say, that what you two have done.
And Robbie
Anyone
got a
else?
29.9.
He's letting the family down.
I think he also, it was caught in the afternoon and I'm floating.
weighed
I
it
think he weighed it the next morning.
No, we waited on the beach.
Waited on the
there.
beach. So it was.
But
It
I
was.
could have helped him a little to make it.
Put
this
some
week.
sand. Sand
Yeah,
drag.
yeah.
Where was the
But,
sand
no,
drag?
there's no way he's going to get it over 30. though.
Dad's fault.
So no, it
He's
was.
got to go and earn it. It's got to be a proper 30.
That was pretty close though.
A
So
comfortable thing.
That's like the Springboks winning by 1 point.
they won.
You got to win properly.
You got to win properly. But they won. So I mean, we were just checking and reading up. They weren't looking, but we talked on your biggest fish. But maybe your most memorable. So maybe you'll start with you, Adam. Like your most memorable fish. Okay, you've.
oh, that kuda. No, okay. So there's that kuda that was caught on a crystal minnow in us sitting on backline paddling past the surfers. Adam Schlote talking to them.
Yeah.
Like going, oh, how's it? What have you caught? Which, if anyone knows Schlote, it's like
No, no, it's like what chance is that?
there's
happening?
it's in the middle. It's basically in the mid break
In the bush.
with no reef around.
Yeah,
It's absolutely
yeah.
unheard of, and it was no wire. Crystal minnow, which is a little lure.
Tiny little lure about this big.
Yeah. So that that was
Yeah.
breaking the 30 on the kuta was one of the most memorable. And I'd also say that 42 kilo dog I got this year, because that's
Yeah, that's
to see an actual fish over 40 next to the kayak it's unreal. Like I think there's quite a few guys who've caught sailies. I mean, there is the weight to measurement on
the
the.
sailfish next to the ski. When you say a sailfish, all of a sudden you're already thinking, okay, long, big, like a short, fat 40 kilo fish is a different animal altogether.
And I mean, there've been a couple of 40 plus tunas, but like I'd say, look, if you really look back and count in the numbers, there's less than 50 fish over 40 in the history of kayak fishing in Durban. So just ticking that box was crazy. Those are probably.
And I mean,
My two
Rob, I
standouts.
mean, we know you've caught more fish than you'd like to know.
Memorable one.
No, but I've been
What's
saying,
your
but
more
what's your most memorable one?
I would say
Not the time you beat Carl Schlum with a dogger, like when you used to have that 50 rand. Was it a 50 rand note or a 20 rand note?
I can't remember.
I remember that. We didn't carry on just now, but anyway, yeah. So your most memorable.
I would say that I caught a really, really big garrick
Okay.
last year.
Oh, I saw that picture. That,
On the
that was a
KP.
proper.
That was
proper
the,
garrick.
I took the
never
on the
photos
knuckle duster
on
too.
the, on
eh?
the KP, and
I've
it
never
was
seen such a big garrick in my life.
it was
anyway.
that was 20 like
Easy.
smashed through 20 plus. It was a monster fish.
Yeah. No, that was
You
a
didn't think maybe I hit the beach and weigh that thing. Check it out.
nah. And I'd say I love dogger fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
You've
many
always have.
people like it.
No, but
Alright,
you always
but
have.
Each his own. And the very first dogger I ever caught,
On the Schlonger barge?
I still play that
On the
through my
Schlonger
mind.
barge?
On the barge.
With Carl Schlum or on your own?
No, it was, I can't remember what it was,
No,
but
no.
nobody used to
No,
fish
no.
for dogger there. Eh?
No.
Nobody. Even the ski boats didn't fish there back in the day.
Yeah.
And I still have the Erics.
Yeah.
You try and put a 32 kilo dogger
Oh, and
in.
that hatch, I mean, the hatch entrance was
Oh,
tiny. So.
So I put it on Kit Case's boat, but I remember this thing coming up. It's like a bathtub coming up.
Yeah.
And I put it on Kit Case, and I thought, I'm okay in. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, you know. So
But that was also, let's maybe just clarify here,
No, back
is that
then
that
there
was
were
back in
limits.
the day with different, no, it was
Different
5
limits.
dogger per person.
different
Yes,
limits
yes.
to
So
now
I'm
that.
saying the limit then back then was way different to what it is now.
I put another bait down, got another one of just about the same size. Put it on Kit Case's boat. And in those days, nobody had digital cameras. We didn't have a camera on your phone. I took it to Barry Wareham's house,
Yeah.
and he photographed them for me.
Okay.
And that was memorable, very much so. And then I got a tuna at Salt Rock one day
Okay.
that I put it into my boat, and you know the screws of the you put screws on the hatch lid,
Yeah, yeah.
so it went in and scraped in there.
And never came.
It was so big you couldn't get it out.
You
So,
read
I,
it, yeah,
so I had to
that's-
disassemble the boat.
Disassemble them, unbolt the hatch.
That was a big tuna. That was a big tuna. That
Oh,
was
that's a
it
good
was
one.
about 37 kilos.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so we can touch on that on the dogger. I mean, the viewers out there don't know the dogger salmon. In Australia, what do they call it?
Mulloway.
A mulloway.
I
But
think we call it Japonicus. What
It's
is
a Argyros
Yeah,
sinus, Japonicus.
so obviously
Japanese
the limits
media.
have changed presently what we have in South Africa. But back in the day, then when 20 years ago or 22 years ago, whatever, like you say, you could catch 5. I mean, and not
Try
many,
and catch
and not
5.
many people tried to fish for them either. All were fishing for them.
I think what I like about the dogger, and it's not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
It's
everyone likes
not everyone likes doing it, and a lot of guys see it and they try it and they come 3 times, they blank, and they just go, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
It's challenging fishing. It's like an old school lost, bit like dead bait fishing in a way, where it's like this old school lost art. The KP, it's big swell a lot of the time. I mean, you're fishing in that July to August, September, even to now. Big swell. It's freezing cold.
Yeah.
You might go out there 5 times and blank, and the guys on
And
the
sharks
inside
harass-
sharks harass you. I'd say there's really about 10 of us, 10 to 15 guys on the East Coast who would, I mean, you compare that to Kuda season where there's 40, 50 guys a morning at Mshoti. I mean, there's really 10 to 15 guys from Toti through to Zinkwazi who are actually doing it and properly, and it's really something to, it's something to learn,
It's a
and
dark
it's hard,
art.
and it's a dark art. Yeah, it
Dark
really
art,
is
we
a.
call it that.
It's a
Being a dog.
Dogger art.
Dog
Dog
art.
art.
Okay, the dog art. Being a dog art. Carl Schlum and you. You probably don't remember this, but in the old stealth on top of the hill overlooking Gainey River, I think it was either you or Carl came in one day, but you had a 100 rand note or a 50 rand note. And on the one side you had lines for the number of dogger you caught, and the other side was the number of dogger Carl had caught.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, you caught the most dogger would get the 100 bucks.
Is it?
Yes.
Ah.
And it was a constant battle.
Talk about Carl. He was the one guy when I first started in South Africa
Yeah.
who was very willing to teach and help me.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's always been like
He's
that,
always
you
been
know,
that,
he's
always been helpful.
free with his information.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to do the same.
You tried, eh?
Yeah.
Especially part your knowledge onto Adam.
Well, they must learn fast. But the thing is, I learn a lot from them now.
Yeah. There's a big wheel, like you say, the wheel turns eventually somehow, in some way, you know.
I used to.
We don't call Adam the professor for nothing now, eh?
Yeah.
It's also building. Sorry, it's building on a foundation though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's stuff that like why do you do a coup debate this way? And that the guys, they come to the socials, they can read in the book, but they haven't sat in a room like this
Yes.
for 2-3 hours and tied traces
Yeah.
with
talked about the trace.
and gone, oh, this is why I use this color. This is, and then gone out and done it, and then so like it's building on a foundation. Like it's a learning curve that has been
I think that
greatly reduced. I mean, if you're covering the bottom
it's
end
what
of your
it's what
foundation,
I've
you can go
talked about in some of
further.
the videos recently. Is like when we have like a Mozambique trip or whatever. Look, we used to have so many more than we do now, but like you go there and exactly that. You're literally forced to sit around the fire or at dinner time and talk and make traces or ask about a trace because maybe you didn't catch a fish that day. And even I will go and I will learn. Like, I mean, Marcus is doing something today and it's the first time I've seen him do it and I want to ask him. Wow. He's like something he's done for the last 2 years, you know?
I think one thing that also maybe with the traces, especially the cuda fishing, that was instilled in me by my dad was, I remember when the tuna were wild and my dad would be going, I'm going to Zinkwazi and I don't care if I don't get a single bite, I'm still going to go to Zinkwazi because it's a Zinkwazi kuta day.
Yeah.
And all those, like, obviously we fish for tuna but that ethos of we're going to try to do the high risk, high reward fishing is what has made me catch better fish over the years. It'd be so easy to go
Do the same thing
go to the barge and go throw out a live bait. And I think now that this tuna era has finished and it's taken us back into like a kuta era, it paid off because you learned so much during those leaner years because you were willing to like risk for better fish and like aim a bit higher than, oh, I'm going to go catch 10 tuna at Mshoti drop off or whatever.
3 years ago, maybe more than 3 years ago, like in the club Grand Slam, at one stage people used to call a kuda a unicorn fish because no one would fish for it, for starters, okay, because there were so few around. And then when they were around, like I said, not a lot of oaks fishing for them, but it was just too easy. Go and catch a live bait, throw a live bait, catch a tuna, you've done your job. Rob was catching kuda and more kuda and more kuda and big ones. One of you standing in the back of your bucky and you have to stand on the back of your bucky because you're not the tallest man around. Let's be honest, okay?
No, but wide.
You have to stand in the back of the bucket to hold the fish for the photo because if you're still on the floor, it'd be touching the floor.
Yeah.
Remember that photo?
Yeah.
Is that photo? That was a good one. But this is a story that you'll definitely not forget. Most people never fished in a life jacket in the beginning.
100%.
Okay,
100%.
But you assisted, and I made you a life jacket. I always made you a life jacket. And we were at the barge the one day, and you were fishing with a KP. Now, for those of you who don't know, we've talked about a KP. It's a round reel with two handles on it, you know. And anyway, we were fishing there, and we were at the barge, and you hooked it. I think it was a dog. It was a dogger. But what you'd done is you'd rested the rod on your lap. And you were busy doing something, and you
like
left it there, and you're wearing your good old T-Sav shorts, eh?
Yeah, or board shorts.
Yeah, well, they were those like rugby T-Sav shorts, and you'd put it on your lap, and this dog ate, but you weren't quite ready for it. I think maybe you were doing something, and I was with Carl, and I think even Shooter might have been there when it happened. And the reel backwinded and got tangled in your shorts, but at the same time it pulled you overboard.
100%.
You went upside down. Okay.
Well, very slowly.
Yeah, but slowly. Okay. And we all heard a splash, and then obviously you turn around and you see it, and then you just check a hand holding the handle, side handles, go, help! And the hand in there. But now, of course, everyone's laughing now. Everyone's laughing at him.
Well,
You can imagine Laird, I'll come to the rescue Shooter. The oak was laughing so loud, I think the buildings were vibrating, and Lolisia, he was laughing so much at you. And you were going, help! Help!
I'll tell you what.
But you landed the fish.
I just remember the light disappearing. I only probably went down about a meter, but it felt a lot further.
But in fairness, you couldn't swim too well back then.
I still can't.
Still can't.
Still
Okay.
can't.
So,
Go back to
Yeah.
that life jackets thing.
yes.
Okay. I was the first one who wore a life jacket
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
because of my swimming
Yeah, because your
capabilities.
or inability, should you say?
Inability. And I swim in very much the same way that a brick doesn't.
Yeah.
And that brother-in-law of mine that died,
Yes.
he gave me like an old khaki-looking military sort of life jacket
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And you wore that until it wore out, and then you started making.
Okay.
And then I think, I don't know what actually happened, but I think the law changed, or
No, I
there was
think
some
it just
or
became.
we regulated ourselves.
I think we regulated ourselves. It became like if you had a club comp or if you had an event, we sort of insisted that guys wear life jackets to try and make sure. And now it's become an accepted thing to wear a life jacket.
Yeah.
And also, I think in the beginning, the life jackets, the only life jackets that we had were so uncomfortable on a kayak. They were like either made for water skiing or a boat, and you'd sit there and the thing would strangle you and it'd be around your neck. And then obviously we made more of a paddling life jacket, and that's
That's
sort of
right.
evolved like it is now to.
But
to
I
what
tell
we're
you,
using.
everybody who's fallen off 200 meters in the back line in 6 foot
If
surf,
you haven't fallen
they
off on the
appreciate the life jacket.
If you haven't fallen off on the surf on the way in, on the way out, you haven't fished.
Mm.
That's the reality of it. Eh? We've all had a long swim.
I got knocked off the kayak about 2 years ago by a shark.
Yeah.
It was going for the I had a
snook.
queenie on or a snook or whatever,
Yeah.
and it went for the side of the kayak, and the snook went under, and the shark drilled me, and I fell in.
Yeah.
And for me, it felt like
You swam for 2
I
hours.
felt like I was in the water for 2 hours.
I saw it happen. And it was like nanoseconds and he was back on.
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. I thought I
Just went slowly.
Yeah.
I thought I was in the water for like 10 seconds, but it was.
It's the same thing as everyone's gone upside down while fishing, doing something. You know, whether it be gaffing a snook or gaffing a fish.
I've seen Oaks pull this
I've gone over with a snook. You know,
Let's
when
try-
you,
let's
when
try
you reach
find-
too far and you're like,
And you're too
oh,
drunk to
okay,
get
that
going.
wasn't a good idea. And you go over.
I was trying to find that video of Pelly when he gashed the tuna and goes over, and then
Pellegrini.
everything just floating down in front of his GoPro.
There's actually a video on our YouTube channel, an old video of Cameron and Jono, and there's a story of happening to Jono Rowe. It's exactly that, and his hatch was open and the GoPro was on, and the hatch opens and you see the fish slide out, and you just check his rods and all his gear going while his gear's upside down.
Who were those two brothers who were terribly scared? The one brother was terribly scared of the
McLaughlin brothers.
No. It was the one brother was tall, blonde one, and the one had like darkish hair, man.
Langford.
The Langfords, yes, Will and Richard.
Richard.
And Will used to fish with a life jacket a pair of flippers in his life jacket.
But I remember them crashing once.
Yeah.
Right? I can't remember what kayak it was, but the whole front broke off and all the fish shot out into the sea, and they lost it all. But talking about sharky experiences, I was at Jack's with Marcus and Gary Whitesox.
Yeah.
And Gary Whitesox shouts from, "You're gonna get eaten." I turn around and this fin is coming towards me. Way too big to be a tiger shark.
Yeah.
Way too big to even be a great white.
Yeah.
Even bigger than like an orca fin.
Yeah.
Just screaming towards me like this. I'm looking like this behind me. So I paddled to change the course that this thing's going to hit
Yeah.
me. And it turns and it comes
follows
between my
you.
rods. And it gets to the boat and I just check underneath me. It looks like a bucky underneath me like this. And now this big fin is like this.
Yeah.
All right. So it starts scratching itself under my boat.
The whale shark.
No.
What?
So then Gary, White Sox and Marcus put in, like, we make like a triangle with the
Yeah.
skis like this.
Yeah.
And it's a big oceanic sunfish.
Oh, okay.
Massive, well over a ton.
Cheapers.
And we're scratching with our paddles like
You
this.
got a back scratch.
No, it stayed there. It
Back
liked
scratch
it.
services.
It stayed there for 15 minutes.
Yeah. That's one of the unique things, the things that we see on a kayak.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah. So the one thing we would wanted to say, your favorite place to fish, well, if you had a choice of fishing.
Zinkwazi.
There we go. Without a doubt. We have something different from Pandan. We have Zinkwazi.
Yeah.
And that's because he's the kudu.
I love some.
I think I've been watching the videos, and everyone has said Pandan, Mozambique, but like, yes, you catch good fish there and a lot of good fish, but you don't get those
Quality fish.
you have more chance of that 25 plus fish. That absolutely, that like down
The proper
into your backing
Yeah.
fish at Sinquazi, I think
Yes.
like.
No, I
It's
think-
just
I think-
it's like
I think the thing
there
about-
is the
I think the thing about Mozam is, and while a lot of us say that, is it's a
Species
species to a degree,
variety.
but also, and I'll be honest, when we were first started going there, it was easy fishing.
easy.
All you had to do is literally put a mackerel on your trace, bud, and you'd get a cuda, And if you tried something different, you would get another fish, or the bait ball would come up and you'd get 3 species on a dead bait in a bait ball. I think that also is probably one of the reasons why a lot of us have liked it, because we've had those experiences. You don't get those experiences locally.
It's awesome. You don't get those. You don't use drop shots
Yeah.
locally because it just doesn't. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But I would agree. Zinquazi, and then I'd add to that Vidal.
Yeah.
Because Vidal's
Special place.
special.
Yeah.
You
But it's
never
got to
know
work nicely.
when it's on and it's the right day. You never know what you're
January,
next.
February. Yeah.
Mm.
She's good.
Even she's
Yeah.
and Jax. I mean,
And Jax.
Jax
local
is
places.
kind of like the local for us. It's pretty much.
Yeah. And your favorite type of fishing, Rob? Like not cuda fishing, I'm talking if you had a live bait, a dead bait, or a lure, or a drop shot.
Dead bait.
Dead bait. Every time a coconut.
Every time I did bait.
Not the long,
Otherwise,
the long
just-
skinny one.
Yeah, wallers or big.
Bonnies.
Not too big, but bigger than what the other guys. People like to fish a bonnie that's the same size as a mackerel.
Yeah, yeah.
I prefer to fish
A bigger one.
maybe twice that size.
Okay.
And to make it swim nicely is
This
the
is an art.
yeah. But there's ways of doing it, of course.
Of course.
That's where Brett Bartha them helped me a lot on
Hmm.
getting him to swim nice.
Brett and Daryl's
Brett and
bodies
Daryl.
used to make a planer and stick it in the tail.
That's what you do.
Yeah. And make the bonnie does this with their planer.
It looks like
In fact, I was sponsored by Hulko, and what we used to do is we used to cut the Hulko box up because that plastic was so thick.
Yeah.
You know
the one that the lure comes in.
Yes, the actual Hulko package.
Yeah.
So you keep the packaging, and then we used to cut the planers from them, put it in our tackle box, and then we would put the bonnie and put it through the tail and fish it like that. So I know what you're talking about.
Or that plastic from a takeaway curry. You know the lid?
Yeah.
That's the right thickness.
I've never had a curry.
That's no, you never had a curry.
Do you eat a lot of curry?
Huh?
You eat a lot of curry.
Not really.
Okay.
But I do when I need the lids.
Are you There's an ulterior motive, eh? And your favourite type of fishing, Adam?
The Darga now, but also I really like Darga, but I like when there's a bit of bycatch with the Darga. So using the KP, and it's nice like when you're at Rusty's or whatever and those GTs pull in,
Yeah.
and or like catching a big
You
GT on
rearrange
one
your
of
knuckles.
yes, and
You don't
catching
want to catch more than one.
No.
like catching a big GT on like somewhere like Fonty or T barges
When you're
on
not
a,
expecting
on
it
the
to.
knuck on the KP. That's probably my
Okay.
top. But I mean you can't really plan for that.
Yeah.
And then I really love snook fishing, eh? I really love. Not these days, but no, I love my snook fishing, especially when it's like that summer. They're jumping, there's sprats, there's like it can. I mean, you might be getting 15 like on. You might not land all of them, but it's
I think
like there's always something going on. It's high action. It's
But that's when you hammer them with a spoon.
with the spoon, with
Yeah,
the
that's
when they're
like
trying the
that is
lures.
like
That's like snook fishing is really.
So that will touch on it. So your favourite piece of tackle in your kayak would be your KP.
No.
No.
The most versatile.
I mean, maybe it's not the most versatile, but for you, like
look,
the reel that you probably get the most joy out of.
I
Eh?
yeah, definitely. I enjoy the KP, but like the KP is like July to September.
Yeah.
So I'd say my favorite, the kind of piece of tackle is that crystal minnow, and that Halco 30 gram twisty.
Yeah.
You know how the crystal minnow worked? Where it started.
Ah,
I was in Dubai in a fishing shop there,
and you brought some back.
and I saw these things, and they just looked like a better
Strike Pro.
Strike Pro.
Yeah.
It's just well made, a little bit expensive. So I bought.
Japanese lure, Missouri.
Japanese, yeah.
Japanese.
Yeah, but I
Proper
think
one?
they made
That
in
was
Spain.
20.
And let's be honest, the Japanese, the tackle you can get out of
Yeah.
Japan is quality tackle.
That was
Like, it's good.
2019.
Yeah.
So I brought them back, and then I And then they started buying them properly.
And we had like a year of using them before everyone else did. And I remember guys going, "Oh no, you don't need it. Strike Pro's fine."
Yeah.
And now everyone now uses. So I think that to me is also like one of the like. I think everyone is looking for that one game changer method, and you might get it once or twice, like the drop shots, like the squiddy jigs, I think it was nice. I mean, you did it, and it was lacquer to be a part.
And that's where experience comes from. So
Seeing
the
it.
years of you fishing, right? You walk into a tackle shop and you see something, you gotta go, that's gonna work.
Yeah, it was like that.
And I think there's not a lot of people that can do that. We go into a tackle shop and we go, and I think Brad is another one who's really, really good at that. Like we'll be talking in a tackle shop and Brad will bring you something and you go, I'm going to use this and this is going to work. And I'll be like, yeah, maybe. But what I mean is it's like you fished so much, you've experienced so much different tackle. So when you see something, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that that's going to work.
I'll tell you another thing that we both love is that long Rapala lures.
There's not many people who know about this.
That you can't buy them anymore. You can buy versions of them, but that long
Blue
max wrap.
Max wrap.
Yes, sis, we've had so much, and every species under the sun.
Yeah.
If you get that on the right day,
And
that
it looks
is
terrible in the water. It goes like this.
What does it maybe look like?
Like a
I think it's like a garfish imitation, but that thing is.
That's another
that's fun.
That's a useful thing.
And it costs like terribly. Because of all the
How many
wind
people can?
resistance.
How many people can? Probably a lot more now. Can say that they've caught a sailfish, right?
Yeah.
How many people know that you caught 7 sailfish in 3 days? Mozambique. In that one comp that we had.
That's right. Yeah.
That year we had a lot of sailfish around, and you just
Yeah, I got lucky. But I had caught a lot of half beak.
yes. That's why you're talking about that lure. So the half beak was what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So
Cape Vidal, I caught them.
yeah.
And
Because I mean,
took
I
them
don't know
up
how
there.
that swims, but remember a half beak at Mozambique would do this little hop on the surface, and you'd get them. They would just get absolutely smashed.
I just used monofilament
yeah.
with a 9.0 J hook.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even a circle hook.
Yeah, yeah.
And I threaded it on like a worm, so the hook could come out the belly
Out the
hole,
bum there, yeah.
and then break the beak off and
Yeah, I
tie it.
remember.
So
I remember you doing
it
that.
swam quite nicely. No sink or weight or anything, and 2 of those strikes were double ups.
There we go. Because they sometimes hang together.
They must have done. Yeah,
Yeah, still
that
happens.
was good fun. That
Yeah, that's good.
And I caught them on the barge on the KP
Oi, oi, oi.
with a 12-ounce sinker
Did he jump?
with a 4-meter snood. And you want to see that sinker whizzing around people's heads out there. It's like a bullet.
The other thing that comes to my mind now, you talk about that, was when we were fishing off Ginjata Bay, and you hooked a Marlin. Do you remember that time you hooked that Marlin?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we were sitting, and that thing greyhounded down the middle of us. It was a beast, and it just went, whoop, 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 just disappeared into the distance.
It came past me. I saw my dust in its mouth, like this.
Yeah, so you're talking about with a single swimming. That thing was just greyhounding just straight through everybody.
It was big.
Yeah, it was big. Yeah, yeah. And your advice, if someone was going to take up kayak fishing,
Just persevere.
that's a common.
You've got to have the
denominator.
fast bait.
Yeah, nothing's easy.
I mean, I met a lot of people who said that's the last time they're doing it. They left their ski on the beach and said, "The next guy, you can have it.
Yeah.
I'm done."
I'm tried, and I
And-
failed.
Out of the amount of kayaks that you've supplied into the market, I wonder how many just line garages.
Yeah, how in houses, and you go to places, and now there's a lot lying around in Mozambique, and there's everywhere.
But I mean, ones that
Aren't used.
aren't used.
Yeah.
Or the
But
guys
I mean-
pull them out for 3 sessions at Mshloti in January, and
I often say this, and I mean, it is fishing, whether it be on a kayak or on a boat or anything. It's a bit like it's like a gambling, or even some kind of addiction to a degree. If you do it 10 times, if you go gambling 10 times and all you do is lose your money,
You're going to stop.
you probably don't go gambling for another 3 or 4 years until your mate drags you along and you go again. But if you win 10 grand the first time you go, chances of you going back tomorrow are pretty high.
Exactly.
And I think fishing is like that too. Is that you can go fishing and you can catch nothing and nothing and nothing, and you're like, I'm really not going to make the effort anymore because I'm just not getting any bite. But if you go and you get a bite, you get a fish, then you want to go again tomorrow. And then if you get a quality fish and it sticks in your mind for longer, so you try a little bit more,
Or you miss one.
or you miss one and you're like,
gonna get it the
it's
next
not
day."
going to get the better of me, you know. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think
perseverance.
it's the catching the fish, the endorphin rush, you know, the adrenaline.
Yeah.
You can't beat it, man.
And
Your advice?
I think the enemy of so many guys is that they think they know better. That to me, I think I've seen, especially working a bit with Marcus, doing lots of stuff, helping
People
at the
don't sit
club,
and
and
take the advice in.
I swear, like there's so many people who would catch fish if you went to a club meeting and spent the next month doing exactly what they say at
Don't
the
change
club
it.
meeting.
Don't change it.
But I found that so many guys, like especially guys, because I've guided women, and and you see how well Janine fishes, how well Amy fishes, how well
So listen.
Candace, because they listen and but like I find so many guys getting into the sport, they're like, oh, but what if I do it my way?
But it's like a,
And then those guys all fall by the wayside
guys
eventually.
don't ask for directions.
Where they, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
in
a
fact is that I
man
used to say this to Brad as well, as because when Brad first started fishing, some of the times in Mozambique we would have a clinic, and Brad would talk to the guys, and he'd come to me and say to me afterwards, it's like I don't know that I don't know what he's doing. I've showed him that. I said that's the problem. I said, Brad, you can stand with 10 people, men I'm talking about, for example, and it says 9 of them will listen to everything, and not do it like you've told them to, and 1 will take in every bit of information and go and do it right, and he'll catch fish.
Yeah.
And then they'll go, what's he doing? And like, well, he's only doing what he's the experience that someone's given him, and he's used it. So that goes back to what you're saying, is don't be afraid to use the experience instead of reinventing something.
You've already keyed. You know what's working.
Yes,
So why learn all that
100%.
when you can start at the top of the curve?
Just
do it the same way.
That's why I think a lot of guys drop out, because they, like you said, they go 10 blanks and they go, why am I doing this? And then they go on a ski boat once and they catch 2 snook and they're like, oh, I can't, you know what I mean? They give up. Also, another reason why guys give up is one really, really horrific wipeout or something.
Yeah. One
I've
big
seen
swim.
I've seen quite a few guys who go, no, like you said, they leave the ski on the beach, or like one bad incident can really knock a hook.
Yeah.
So
How many big wipeouts have you had?
I was bodyboarding though, so like for me a wipeout on the kayak is it's like, I mean, I
It's
went overseas and
at anything in the sea is the more relaxed you are, whether you wipe out or have a swim, the more relaxed you are, the easier.
I think the biggest thing for us was we did nippers, and I mean you did life saving, and I mean the guys with a nippers life saving background and the guys with a surfing bodyboarding kind of background tend to take it to a much easier reading waves, etc.
You actually look for the rips.
Yeah, you do, 100%.
I think the guys that do the best in terms of fishing wise are often the fly fishing guys, because they've already living life on hard mode. So like actually coming and pulling around 2 snook fillets pretty easy.
Yeah.
So the fly fish,
Presentation too.
the fly and the bass guys kind of do well, but if you get a fly and a bass guy who's also done a bit of life saving, that tends to be your. Those guys are kind of your.
Yeah.
You can let that guy rip and he'll be fine.
Yeah, so I think we've touched on a lot of stuff today. I mean, there's lots more. But you do have a nickname, Rob. What's that?
What's my nickname?
Yeah, what's your nickname?
Orient.
The,
Orient Express.
the Orient Express. Who gave you that?
Well, you look at my eyes, you can blindfold me with dental floss, but
So if you see a kayak with the name Orient Express,
It's
either
mine.
you've owned it or it is yours.
yeah, have you seen a few?
Yeah, well, there's been a few over the years. There's a
Yeah.
couple of Orient Expresses floating around. Yeah. And Adam's name
Professor.
is the Professor. Eh?
Because it's always like mathematically working out
Everything.
why could
His
a
head
bait
is
swim
going,
a certain way.
it's puzzling in his head.
Yeah,
But he does come up with a logical solution or a logical point.
eventually.
Some folks can sit and puzzle for a while and they come up with something.
Very
But like I was saying earlier, like it's from that foundation.
Yeah.
It's just expanding on past knowledge, or it's maybe and I dive, and Marcus said in his interview like the diving,
Yeah.
like it's putting one from the diving, one from 15 years, 25 years of kudu fishing, and like putting one and one together to make 2. You know what I mean? It's not like.
That's fair. Cool. So that's been a good chat, boys, gents.
Good.
So the one last thing, your favorite person to fish with?
Carl.
I knew you were going to say that, Carl Schlump.
Yeah,
You guys have had some proper internal comps and banter and but fun, obviously fun stuff.
always
Challenging each other all the time.
because he would
keeping-
stop for 3 or 4 years at a time.
Carl stopped for quite a long time.
Then he'd get
and
back
then he-
into it, but now he's really back
What
into
people
it.
don't know about Carl is that what did he do? His plumbing apprenticeship for about 3 years. He
Yeah.
didn't fish. And then the fish turned on that one summer in Mshloty, and he ended his 3-year apprenticeship and went back to fishing it. And then he had to start all over again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you talk about that gambling thing. Eh?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So
He's a very good fisherman. Eh?
very, very good. And yours, Adam? If you could, you know,
I like fishing with my boys.
I like
course.
fishing. I like because I live quite far away now, so we don't always get a chance to fish together. I enjoy fishing with Dad. I really enjoy kind of fishing with the kind of Belito crew the regular guys like Tom, Warren, Mark, Warren,
Big Warren. Yeah, big
Warren Bennett, and I mean also Warren's one of those guys. There's a few like Brian Taylor, Warren, that I enjoy fishing with up there. That a lot of the Durban guys like they actually don't know. They don't know them. They don't post. They don't know of them. And there's guys up there who are just. I mean,
Brian's one.
Brian's
Brian's been fishing probably as long as anybody.
Brian's one of the. I mean, the photo I sent you the other day with 3 sailies, 10 snook.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the best
I
guys
think-
around.
I think-
Undercover, quiet.
The story that sticks in my mind is Rory Nicholson, Brian Taylor, Gar Nicholson snuck up, and I think Led snuck up to Mabibi. Before, I think it was the last time you were allowed to fish in a kayak in Mabibi. I don't know. You ever
Aren't you
remember?
allowed to anymore?
Not really. Black Rock. Where did Led have that?
Yeah, Dog Point.
Yes. Anyway, they fished there and went and came back with some pictures of
Came
some
back with a
amazing
Marlin.
fish.
That was Mark Hutchinson.
Yes, Mark Hutch. Mark Hutch was part of it.
There's
you know?
still guys like Ross Butcher. Every now and then you see him on the water.
Butchie, yeah, Butchie fishes.
Sav up at Jex.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these guys that like I don't think they're undercover
Undercover.
but legends also.
Undercover
And they
anglers.
operate, and it's
They
it's nice to
operate.
fish with that kind of like A-team
Yes.
kind of guys.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's been good, gents. Thank you
Thank you.
for joining us.
I hope
Just
we added
before-
some value.
Of course, you added some value. And before we go, so what's the latest that you recently has happened to you?
Me?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
you now grandpa, bro.
Oh, yeah. Adam's had
A son.
a son.
Oi, yay, another fisherman coming
We
our way.
hope so. His name's Finn.
Finn, yeah.
So he's already.
Finn, nothing related to fishing at all.
Yes,
Finn.
it's fish fin. It's not. It's not like everyone's like, oh, is it Irish or
Irish?
something?
No,
I'm like,
it's
no,
fin.
it's fin,
Like
like the fish. Yeah.
So that's his name. So they're very, very chuffed with that.
It's funny that you say that because my middle daughter is Riley Carr, okay? And if we had had a son, it was Carr. And only because Carr in Hawaiian is ocean. So because we had a daughter, it became Riley Carr. So it's amazing how like, you know, we stick to the names we know. So Finn,
Well, Kai is the first.
quite a long time till
Emphasis
Finn goes
on-
fishing in a kayak though.
Oh wow. so and it feels like at the moment. I mean, he's 1 month old, so it feels like it's a bit of going to be a while till I properly fish.
I'll work on when next time when you have to babysit for the weekend or something, when maybe your wife goes away, and we can work on an attachment we put in the hatch.
You put the
you
car
see
seat on.
those videos when the guy goes, like a prank video, and he phones his wife when he's supposed to be looking after the kid or something. Yeah, we can.
Greg Swart, as you mentioned right at the
You
beginning.
used to put
yeah.
seaton in the hatch.
And he used to get.
We actually put an extra piece of foam in front of the hatch and a little handle.
Did you?
Yeah, on front of on the ski, and it's like you used to sit there and fish with them. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. And,
That was Seaton, wasn't it?
Seaton.
Yeah.
In the mid-break, he used to tell the guy to get off and swim back.
Dads and surfers and swimmers.
Oh, and well, he was a Springbok surfer.
Yeah.
So
He was, yeah.
kids could swim well. Adam and them can swim well, thank
Yeah.
God.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
thank God for all the years, nippers, life-saving, bodyboarding, surfing.
The sea.
Yeah, the sea.
Learning with the sea.
And water polo.
Water polo
Yeah.
was a big one.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been
Thank
really
you
good.
very
Hope
much.
everyone enjoys it.
I hope so.
Is there any more? Is there any last like? Because there's a few that I'm thinking of that like
Oh, come on, share
the
it.
gaff in the gaff in the shoulder.
You got a gaff in the shoulder. Did you
Hey, a
get
guy
gaff?
tried to rob me
Okay.
at Eastmoor.
Okay. Eastmore Crescent, yeah.
So I'm down at my boat.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see your car,
Yeah.
but I can hear.
A window.
No, this was a long time ago. just something made me. The alarm hadn't gone off or anything.
Something made you uneasy.
So I went up and I saw the guy messing around with my car there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to my boat to get some sort of defense. A gaff is about. I tried to like shoo him off with the gaff.
Go away, go
Yeah.
away.
And the guy went for me. So I gaffed him
Got him.
through.
Did he squeal?
Yeah, but he could run towards. I'm running backwards, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
And
And he's trying to run away.
No, he's trying to run towards me still because he's trying to get the gaff out. So I'm pulling across the car park, all alone, all by myself, and him.
At what's that? Eastmore car park.
East car park.
Yeah. But there's so many houses like so close to it.
Yeah, but it's dark. It's first thing in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
So the gaff came out, and he fell, and then I just gave him another good poke in the side.
And he ran away.
No, he didn't run very far. But then I launched and I went fishing.
It's over, eh? I'm going to go fishing now.
When I came back, there was all good.
It was all good. Everything was over.
You had the plane?
With Kim Parbenfuss,
Yeah.
the aeroplane crashed into him straight. You remember that?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Kim Parbenfuss found the flight bag.
Yeah.
The plane what happened when we were fishing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Off Chain Pool.
Yes,
Like
yes.
a little Cessna.
Yeah.
They had it commissioned and fixed and everything at Virginia Airport.
Okay. And then it didn't fix it properly.
And then it ran out. I don't know what happened, but it crashed right there.
Yeah, in front of the life-saving tower there.
No, yeah.
Yeah. That,
By the-
well, the chain
by
pool.
the chain
lights.
pool.
Yeah, the chain pool one.
There was that as well. Yeah.
Oh, so there's all.
I mean, there's so.
You can go on forever.
Not the time that you and Laird tagged in Yala on the way to Pandan.
Has that happened?
Yeah. But I
We
mean,
hit that in Yala, there wasn't even skid marks. It jumped straight into the car.
it hit the car, landed in the bin, and you carried on to Pandan with the Yala and bin.
No. We hit it, broke its legs.
Yeah.
The airbags went off.
Oh,
Laird
the-
was sleeping.
Yeah, Laird was Shooter was sleeping.
So he woke up. Afterwards, he said to me, he thought he had died and he was going to the big white light. Have you seen an airbag go off?
yes, it was for the
The whole car's
With the powder,
white,
yeah,
white,
with the
white,
powder, yeah.
white. And it's actually got a big hole in it like that because it goes flat quickly.
Okay.
So I could hear the Inyala across the road and the just
Squealing.
outside the Schluie,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like howling. So I had to go there and you know, like kill it
Yeah,
properly.
Yeah, because shame it's put no legs or broken legs.
What a hassle. And Keith Hockley had said, I'm going to Mozambique this trip. I'm never, ever taking a trailer with me again. It's such a hassle, towing the trailer, the paperwork. This time I'm going without a trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
And Keith Hockley came past without a trailer.
You hitched the trailer on his car.
Put the trailer on his car.
You phoned your rep.
He has the papers.
You phoned your rep from Richards Bay.
Got his car, which is the same as my car.
Yeah.
because the both
Also
are
brand
on the-
new, like probably a few months old.
Yeah, quite a new one.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
we got to
hopped in
Makuzi.
you hopped in his car, carried on driving to Mozambique and left
He
him to
took,
sort it out.
he took the Inyala and the tow truck. Left him. He came there with his onesie and like
Pajama onesie.
and like those hairy sheepskin slippers.
Oh no.
And he had blood from year to year after like loading that Inyala.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Then we had to get him a koozie because you need the paperwork for that truck.
Oh yes.
Because he didn't bring the papers.
Oh, yeah, of
with
course
him.
you wouldn't have bought
No,
the
well,
boat.
he didn't know it's going to come.
Oh, you didn't even know you were going to steal his car. Well, not steal it, but I
So
mean,
his wife faxed them through to the police
old
station
Fax.
in Makuzi.
All right, old fax.
And that's how we finished the trip.
There we go.
Yes, let's make a plan.
Yeah. Wouldn't make a plan to go fishing, eh?
Was that the trip that led peed on the wall or,
No,
or
Laird-
shorted out his battery with a
Oh,
wallet?
Laird shorted out his battery.
I mean, there's about
He-
1,000 stories.
He
found there.
sorted out his battery, accuses Gilly of stealing his
Right,
rope.
there's
He,
one
he
story.
peed on you
In his sleep.
in his sleep. He thought it was the toilet or something, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
An idiot. And then I swapped my mattress with Keith Hockley's quickly.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing, last story.
Yeah.
Remember Marnie, Varelwind
Oh,
Marnie?
Varelwind. Yes, of course.
He drove over that guy first of all.
Yes. Come over in the town just outside. Yeah.
At Manhika there.
Yeah.
Then he held a cuda up for a photograph and I bit the end of his thumb off
Yes. Yes.
here. Right, like a big ball of.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
He put a Coca-Cola screw on top over it before he plastered it.
Blasted.
So, remember at Pandan when the restaurant was still on top of the hill,
Yes. Yeah.
and we all used to sit and watch,
Oak's coming in.
and Marnie's still out there
He
with
was coming across the bay.
with a purple ski with the Odemiester sticker on it. And this
Odemiester
little
is brandy, yeah?
This whirlwind.
Odemiester is a brandy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this whirlwind came down the beach.
But we could see it. No, we could
We
see
could
it from
see it.
coming out at sea, wasn't it?
And I was coming along the beach,
Okay.
as I remember it.
Yeah.
It was quite fat. It was blowing, coming down the beach. And I tell you, 250 of us, or 200 of us, and those days were a lot of
Yeah,
people, were praying that thing's going to hit Marnie.
Yeah, we did. And we actually did
As
pray
true
for
as
it.
God, that thing went,
Detoured.
it went straight out of the ocean, and it went straight over that arcade. Fishing rods, sunglasses.
Kayak upside down. And that's how he got his nickname, the Vuddlement. Marnie Vuddlement, eh?
Oh my God, that oak was excellent prone.
So there we go. Like you say, there's lots and lots and lots of stories. But thanks for joining
We'll
us.
get them down one day.
Yeah,
We'll get them down
we'll
onto
get them all.
onto
But it's been
paper. And
really good to have you guys here.
Oh, thank you very much, Brett.
Yeah. And I hope-
shot, Brett. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure we'll catch up with Mr. Carl Schlom soon. Get his side of the story, because there's lots of everyone else's side of Carl's stories. Eh?
Carl's been featured in every single one.
Yeah, he's popped up in everyone's
Well, then
story.
he must be a true legend.
100%, so.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Let's rock and roll.
Everyone-